So I caught a break. So I thought, my parents decided that we were moving, and it was mixed feelings. A part of me was glad to get out of that place, but another part of me was, you not knowing what it would be like moving to a completely different state, although it wasn't too far away. New school, new people, new friends. Will I make any friends? What will it be like? Nobody knows. Neighbors, new neighbors, just brand new environment, which I decided it would be good for me. And it started off okay. Had some pretty cool neighbors, made friends. But of course, you go through the usual in school as a girl. The wish-washy friends and whatnot. But I did make a pretty cool connection the second year. Try and tell her what's going on. And she said that she believed me. I was like, I felt relief, which is a feeling that I haven't felt in a long time. So I ran with it, right? And soon to find out that, the secret she said she'd never tell anybody, pretty much everybody knew. And no one believed me. So, soon after that, the group of friends that I thought I developed thought I had my back for sure because I had had theirs. I started in middle school, since I couldn't really protect myself at home, or I didn't feel protected or safe. I started to be the protector in my other environment in school. So whenever somebody had a problem or somebody was messing with them, they would call me and I would come handle it. Mostly through intimidation. I didn't really have to put my hands on anybody, but sometimes, slam against the locker or, just get real close to their face. I mean, let's be honest, my skin tone alone usually did enough intimidation. And, I was pretty athletic, pretty strong physically, so, people already knew that, and that was a factor. So, it worked for the time being. You get that, small moment of, feeling better. But, in the end, it really didn't do much. Anyway, after a while, I'm in class and I get called to the counselors. I go to the counselors, and there is a group of people that I consider to be my closest friends. And we have a talk about how they don't want to be my friend anymore because I lie too much and they don't know if they can trust me, and making up all these stories for attention. At that moment, I felt so betrayed. For the most part, just brokenhearted. And I can I can accept the fact that, yeah, I've lied before. Who the heck hasn't? Um, and in a way, maybe I set myself up for that because, in some instances, I wasn't honest. I can, I can admit that. But that was one thing that I never lied about. I didn't make up. Um, and maybe I did tell for attention. Maybe I just wanted someone to care. But in the end, the counselor pretty much let them tear me down and speak very negative. And then followed up with and told me that I should stop telling stories because uh, the truth is what attracts people and build relationships. um, oh, she didn't believe my story was real either, and she said what I really am wanting is attention, and I should um, look to gain those things in a healthier way. That's kind of where I drew the line. I stopped. I really stopped trying to reach out, and I started to form a barrier around myself. But even still, during all that, I'm still me. I'm still a very loving person. I'm still very loyal. So, I try to mend the fences and, apologized and, still tried, I was still pleasant for the most part. I was still trying to hang out, still would be very giving, very loving. That's just me. It didn't do anything. It was still an outsider. And, I grew to be okay with that. Uh, but at the same time, I just started to keep everything to myself. And I found as I have gotten older that people who have dealt with some form of abuse usually have one of two reactions. Either they ball up and really become, isolated, excluded, or they lash out and get, like really wild, like have no boundaries. I was the ball up one. I feel like I had to be. Didn't feel like I could trust anyone. I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone because of people I felt closest to, let me down. They didn't believe me. So, what's the point? Um, Clearly, what I thought is they didn't find me worth a dang to do anything about it. So that's what I started believing. that I wasn't worth being saved, and maybe I deserved it. Maybe I did something that maybe I brought it upon myself. Being punished for something, I don't know what, but I just know it wasn't stopping. So I went into this depression. I didn't smile a lot. I'd still laugh, but half the time it wasn't really real. I decided that since I wasn't worth saving, or since I was such a bad friend and didn't deserve to be friends with anybody, since my brothers didn't care to protect me, since my father didn't protect or fight for me. So I thought, then, what am I here for? What's the point in doing all this? What's the point in living when I felt like there's nothing to live for? So I became suicidal. I tried a lot of stuff. Tried to hang myself multiple times. I ingested a lot of pills. I ingested pills and bleach. I tried to cut myself. I tried plenty of things, and none of them ever worked. And there's always something kind of unexplainable that would happen that just, wouldn't allow me to just die. I just wanted to be done with it. Like, just let me go. Stop the pain. At least, I would have some kind of safety and I'd just be done with it. But it just never worked. And so one morning, I was talking to a schoolmate, and I think it was a hot day or something, and I had on long sleeves, and she was like, "What the heck?" So I don't remember if I think she did roll up my sleeve and saw that I had wrapped my hands and there was, blood kind of showing through. So then I got called to the counselor again, and there's a group of people there, telling me it was basically an intervention. Telling me I need help and all that stuff, and then again, you're doing this for attention, says the counselor. And I'm like, maybe part of it was, but for the most part, I really just didn't want to be there anymore. I got angry. I got really angry. I just started to be, I don't know how you would explain it. I would kind of lash out at home, had a lot of attitude, short fuse. If I felt like I was being disrespected or anything of the sort, I would blow up. Get really mad to the point where I was like, my blood was like literally boiling. And I could so frustrated that tears would come out of my face. My fist would be balled up and I'd just be, ready to lash out at people. And so, that's what people started to know me as. And again, just repelled people away. So, get to high school, and even during all that, I'm still athletic, and my two main outlets that I found was sports and art. Because sports I was really good at, and it made me feel better. And in some ways it did make me feel important because, being number one all the time, you get that kind of praise from your peers and, from your parents or whoever, and you're like, oh, okay, I can do that. So that started to help me get through a little bit, and art just, it became my safe place. It became a good outlet for me to just be me, be creative, not have to worry about a thing, and just, let the pencil and paper do its thing, or the paintbrush, or whatever I was working with. And I loved it. It was something I was good at, something I could create, something in it be a good thing, and it was beautiful. And that's exactly how I didn't view myself.
For you, I put my lighter in the air for you. I see what you're doing, yeah, I see what you go through. Put my lighter in the air, the truth is you're beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now put your lighter in the air for us. Everybody singing together, sing a new song. Put your lighter in the air for love.